welcome to our fridge. So I bought some stuff for Tater, including some new food. So I'm just gonna show that off. Most of it is still defrosting because it was frozen, and like frozen solid, and is maybe now squishy-ish. So he hasn't been able to eat any of it yet. Hopefully we can do it for dinner. So the first thing, this is the first time buying it, I got him the Answers straight formula, which is more like the limited ingredient one of the chicken formula in the 2-pounder. So it's in this like milk carton thing, but it's like ground chicken. So we're gonna try that. I'm real curious to see how I'm supposed to get it out of this carton. So that's gonna be a fun adventure. But yeah, I'm trying to be better about doing some raw feeding. Hello there, I see you. Overall, I try and feed him about like 50% kibble, 25% raw, whether that's meat or like veggies and stuff, and then like 25% freeze-dried. And I haven't been doing a ton of the raw stuff, so I wanted to stock up on various raw products. And we really like the Answers brand. I went to two nutrition talks by them at local pet stores, and they're just this really great company. It was their nutritional director who came out to both of them, and like he's able to name all of their Amish farmers and give personal anecdotes about them and say like what exact products they get from them. And I just thought that was fantastic, that like they actually know the people who make their food and what food they make and can show pictures of them and talk about how many children they have. So we really like Answers. This was pricey. There's definitely way cheaper meat containers than this one, but I wanted to try it because we like Answers. I don't know, I haven't even fed it to Tater yet, but I don't know if I would buy it again just because of the price. I feel like there's other brands that are cheaper that I'd be willing to not buy Answers for this and save some money. Other things that I got, this I've gotten for Tater a couple of times. We got a free sample at one of those talks, and then I've bought for him before, or since then. So this is the Answers raw goat milk formula, and it is, I believe it's also fermented, but yeah, it is raw goat milk, and you just put a little bit of that in. You can also just feed it, like technically you are able to just give them this milk and that is all they eat. I don't do that personally, but that is a thing that you can do, and your dog will be okay if you do it properly. But yeah, so we got those two things from Answers, and then also need to clean out our fridge. Up here is a fresh carton of green juju. I got the Bailey's blend this time. I feel like I got Bailey's blend before, and I feel like Tater likes the just greens one better, but I don't remember. So we got Bailey's blend. It's the one with blueberries and stuff. It's greens, it's mixed. They were also at one of the talks, and we got a free sample of that. And then we've got, again, Since. This is nice to get some veggies in and some green, because dog food generally just ends up being pretty brown, especially with 50% kibble and 25% freeze-dried. The freeze-dried stuff is also very brown. So I like adding the green juju so he has some color, and I can clearly see he's getting his veggies because you can see them in this. Yes, we got this. I've also meant to make my own or play around with making my own or similar product. I don't think it would necessarily be as great, but I could probably make a bigger batch for cheaper. So I may experiment with that in the nearest future after we run out of this guy. Alright, and then, up in the freezer. Now this is getting real interesting up in here. Oh god, things are flying out. So I got, you know what, I'm gonna stop filming and get that thing off the ground. Hang on. Okay, take two. Alright, so the exciting thing that I got is Northwest Naturals. I got a 10 count of chicken necks of their raw meaty bones lines. So there's some frozen chicken necks in here, and I've never given Tater a raw meaty bone before. So I felt like this was probably a good place to start. So yeah, we're gonna try and incorporate some occasional meaty bones into his diet. Honestly, I like the like prepackaged meat and stuff like that just because it's easier, and I don't know how to go about finding weird animal parts for him to eat of raw feeding. Like, there are people that are like really into this that are like, yeah, here's my dog eating like some chicken uterus and a beef testicle and stuff like that. I don't think I'm ever gonna be at that level, but we're gonna try these out and see how that goes. What do you think? Do you want to try one of these at some point? I might give one to him tomorrow, so we'll document our journey into being more raw fed, but not super raw fed. So those are the things that I bought for Tater. Hi guys. Alright, I'm looking real rough right now because it's that time of the month and I literally can't even. But we're gonna embark on a doggy cuisine project tonight. So I got Tater the Answers Straight Formula chicken carton, which first of all I had to open all the way because you cannot scoop meat out of a carton that's only half open. Also, this carton is stupid. Like, yeah, carton is just a weird format. I don't know how other people work with it. So I've given it to him. I gave it to him last night after it defrosted, and I just served him some for dinner. But I don't know how like, it's not gonna hold up in this carton in the fridge forever. So I'm gonna be putting it into silicone molds and then freezing the molds so he can have little frozen chicken nuggets. Because I think that's gonna work a lot better and just be easier for us. And then I can just take them out and throw them in his dish, and they're pre-portioned too, because then they can be in nice little good sized portions. I'll probably give him like 2 of these size. But yeah, so we have a bunch of molds here. We've got little paw prints. We've got little butt hearts, because they've got a line down them. Fire hydrants, seashells, and there's some stars. So I'm gonna be working with these, and I've got some gloves here. I should get a spoon. But yeah, so we're just gonna see how this goes. I figured I'd record it because I feel like it's gonna be real interesting. Because yeah, it will be. So start off with putting on my food gloves. We have these food gloves at all times because Alex works in the food industry and likes having gloves for handling raw meat and stuff. And honestly, yeah, I use them for all sorts of other stuff. It's super nice to have them on hand. Okay, so what's going to be the easiest shape to start with? I think the hearts. I think the hearts because they don't have a lot of little nubbies. Like those fire hydrants are looking real nubby. Okay, so I'm going to do this on our stovetop because we've got a electric flat one without the little burners, so if I mess up and spill everywhere, I can just Clorox wipe. Alright, yeah, I'm just carrying the carton to open it up because, again, this carton is a pain in the butt to work with. Like, how else am I supposed to get meat out of this besides mutilating it? Okay, so I'm just gonna take my spoon. Also, yeah, this is what it looks like. Brown around the edges from like what, oxidization, aeration, food words, science. Okay, already spilled a little piece on the stovetop, but that's why we're doing it on the flat stovetop, that I can Clorox wipe off. Okay, so we're just kind of packing these in the little hearts, flattening it out. I probably should have adjusted the camera before I started. All right, let's lower this guy. Okay, there we go. Glove back on, because yeah, you don't need to see my face really. Move this aside. I don't know, maybe I could have put something under the tray so when I spill meat it goes on to like cling wrap, I guess, but too late. we will keep that in mind for if I do this ever again in my life. But yeah, Tater seems to be enjoying his meat so far. I think I gave him a little bit too big of a portion last night since he hadn't had it before because his poop was a little squishy. But that happens a bit when he tries new food, so I wasn't too concerned, and then it was firmer in the morning. So yeah, I think it was just the first time he had something new. Might have run through him a little fast and been a little squishy. But yeah, since then his poop has been much better, so. Okay. I will very likely use all of these, and we may have some meat left over, which is why I wanted to get started on this tonight, because I need to get these guys frozen, and if it's going to take more than one round of doing this, the sooner the better, so I can get it all done before meat gets funky or anything. Okay. Yeah, I thought the silicone molds also would be great because I just throw these in the dishwasher since they're dishwasher safe, and then they get all nice and clean, which is great because I'm stuffing them with raw meat. I don't think this is what they were intended for, but you know what? It works. We use these little silicone molds for whatever the dog eats. Make him little yogurt treats, make him veggie treats, make him little frozen meaty things. Okay. This isn't going terribly so far. Of course, again, the hearts are probably the easiest, and we'll see what they look like when I freeze them. But yeah, so far I only spilled once. Tearing the carton was definitely the right call. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep chatting and saying random whatever comes to my mind, train of thought, while I scoop these. Yeah, so yeah, working towards feeding Tater a little bit more raw, because yeah, I mean, there is lots of research saying it's good for him. I do not, like, this is me being extra right now, I do not have the time or the, I don't even know, the brain cells to be like hardcore raw feeder, because there's people that like prep all of these Tupperwares and stuff full of like hearts and all of these things, and I don't think I'm ever gonna be at that level. Like, that's real intimidating to me. I don't even know like where I would go about finding all of this meat and stuff. We don't have the room in the freezer for it. Like, I'm making him little nuggets because that's what we've got room for. So yeah, I don't think I would ever be at that level, but I want to try and feed him as best as I can with the money and the time that I have and everything, so I got into this a bit after watching Pet Fooled, and I watched that because they were coming to Portland. There's having fun with his hedgehog as usual. Yeah, they were going to be in Portland at a couple of local small pet stores talking about pet nutrition. Well, filming talks about pet nutrition at the pet stores, and I wanted to go to that to learn more, and also because they were filming and I wanted Tater to be in the documentary because we're making Pet Fooled too. But yeah, I thought that the talks were really interesting and I wanted to know more about Pet Fooled. So I watched the documentary, which is on Netflix, before we went, and I thought it was really informative. And I mean, my approach to feeding Tater is like, my parents joke that he eats better than I do, and I will accept that, because my approach to it is that, you know, like, dogs don't live as long as people do. It's unfortunate, and I wish it wasn't the case. I wish Tater would live forever, but that is the case. So I feel like since, you know, his life is less than a quarter the length of a person's, we might as well make sure that he eats the best that he can during that time. So I'm fine with him eating better than I do, because you know what? I've got longer to eat food. So yeah, so working more raw food into his diet, trying to be aware of what's in the food he eats. So I think I talked about this before, but my goal is to try and do about 50% kibble, 25% raw, and 25% freeze-dried, because of convenience and everything. Kibble and freeze-dried food is more convenient, although with raw stuff, I do a lot of this, of getting things that I'm able, like I'll defrost them and then refreeze them into little molds and stuff, and then just kind of throw those into the bowl. Because that's easy. You have a bowl, you know, you take the time, and then you have a batch of these nice little portion bits. Especially because, you know, like, he's not a big dog, you know, he's now 23 pounds, so he doesn't need to eat big chunks of meat. So these work. These are nice little portions for him. So yeah, I'm on halfway through the second one. I'm getting a lot of like blood and defrosted meat juice now. So that's gonna be interesting to continue working through. These are getting a little bit juicier as I go. I should probably put the other tray in the freezer at some point. Also, I just checked and we are at 11 minutes of me filling molds with raw meat. So, you know, there's all sorts of interesting stuff on YouTube, and I'm adding to it. If you're into watching people fill silicone molds with raw meat, you are in the right place. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end this because you don't need to watch me fill all of these. This is gonna take a bit longer. I've still got 3.5 more to go. So just do this last one and then I will stop it. But yeah, I hope you feel informed about raw meat and pet nutrition and life. Come on. Come on. I don't want to touch it because then, oh, if I have to touch other things. I know I have the gloves on, but I'm trying to keep the gloves clean too. Okay. I'm gonna take a break there to stop the recording and put the heart tray in the freezer. I got a gallon bag to put them into because I don't know, like, are you supposed to put just like little nuggets of meat in the freezer like that uncovered? So I figured if I put it in a bag, that's probably a good idea. So I'm gonna do that.